Hi, I'm Ryan Knock, lead writer on Zeitgeist and freelancer for hire, and you're listening to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
This week, Morrus, BJ, and Jessica talk about the starship combat and hacking rules from Voidrunner's Codex. In the news, DC20 Kickstarter breaks $1 million, a new champion class from Pathfinder Remaster, heroes of Might and Magic TTRPG coming from Modiphius, and more. This week on Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Al and Dean's Artifact Shop. Al and Dean's stocks a wide range of the finest artifacts, from enchanted swords to magic lamps. This week only, they have a 2-for-1 offer on Excaliburs, Molyneux, and Grails. Get on down to Al and Dean's for excellent deals on Elven Stars, Stormbreakers, and Arkenstones. I bought a Palantir from them last month. It turns out that you also have to fork out for a 12-month subscription, or they're just useless glass balls. Alan Dean. Alan Dean. That sounds oddly familiar.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk.
Hello, and welcome to Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me this week is
PJ Coffee from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, as ever, I am delighted to be here. Joining us also, dragged from her sickbed, fully loaded with all caffeine, cough syrups, and all manner of lotions, potions, and things to help her just get through that day. Rising from her sickbed, it's the one. It's the only.
It's me, Jessica from EM Publishing, yeah, and I got hit hard by the Concrud and still not on quite fully back to my full powers yet. But I am present. I have tea, I have an electrolyte sports drink, I have water, I have cough drops, and I've taken paracetamol drugs, so I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got hit by the same bug, but I'm feeling a bit better now. I'm feeling like almost, 80%, I reckon.
Another
80% back.
member of our team, I asked for that permission to discuss, but basically the whole team of EN that went to the event, staff-wise, has come back with this Concrud. So it's, we were all, so the last 2 weeks has been interesting at EN Publishing HQ, because we've all just been kind of zombies, trying to get stuff done, as it's been a busy 2 weeks. Like I said, we launched the Voidrunner's Codex, which is very exciting, but it's always a busy time. Plus the usual, running a tabletop RPG company, a news site.
And some major admin challenges which kind of arose. We won't go into details, but arose in the last week as well, which required quite a lot of scrambling on our part.
But nothing is actively on fire now. We've put out all the fires currently. So we'll just wait for the next one to go, and then we'll deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't start the fire.
It was always burning. Well, it's been turned. Yeah. I used to be able to sing that entire song word for word. I can't anymore. I've forgotten it all, but I used to.
Maybe when you've fully recovered and your powers have returned.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my one secret power, yes.
Yeah.
That was my one talent, the one thing I was able to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me pop a cough drop, because the coughing is starting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, RPG news.
Yes.
Such as it is. So, what RPG news do we actually have? Because we really don't have much.
I have a couple of items.
Okay.
Now, this does come with some caveats. It is coming from Tumblr by user Esper Derrick, and they're talking about the new RPG net owner.
Tumblr,
yeah. I mean, I would normally be like, okay, well, you can have your opinions. That's absolutely fine. I'm not that interested. But what they have done is they've gone and they've done a bit of background research and provided sources and links.
Okay, so RPG Net was bought by RPG Match a month ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's the owner, Joaquin Lippincott, I think I would say that has.
Okay, I don't know. I believe you.
Yeah, and he is what we call a machine learning advocate. His main company, MetalToad.com, is about advising corporations on how to make the best use of generative AI, large language models, machine learning, and he has a an X.com, formerly Twitter account. And yeah, I personally would describe it as a rogues gallery of people that he likes things from. Such luminaries as, say, Tucker Carlson, who I was looking forward to him being consigned to his rightful obscurity, but instead it's like RPGNet, which is a place that is very firmly moderated, has been very inclusive and protective of vulnerable groups, and it does not seem like the owner necessarily will be on board with this culture. So that has been a concern for many people. Yeah, I mean, it could be wrong, but certainly it is like a little bit worrying for users of that community.
Right, sure.
Speaking of online communities and things like that as well, I do have another piece of news if we're...
Sure.
I don't know if we discussed it last week, because I haven't listened to the episode, I'm sorry. Dicebreaker, we talked about what happened with Dicebreaker?
Well, it hadn't happened last week, it happened this week.
Okay, I thought so. The last 2 weeks have really blended into one of me lying in bed coughing.
IGN bought a whole bunch of sites like 2 or 3 weeks ago, but the actual Dicebreaker specific side of it broke this week. But yeah, go on. You
Well, do you know a bit more about it than me? Because I wasn't even sure when it happened.
Probably not a lot, but I know that IGN bought a whole load of websites from the company that owns Dicebreaker and a whole bunch of other stuff. And mainly it was like video game sites and pop culture sites and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the suite of sites was.
Nerd culture things.
Yeah. All I know is that Dicebreaker was one of those sites.
Yeah.
And as of this week, various people at Dicebreaker, mainly sort of like their editor-in-chief and various columnists and content creators who work at Dicebreaker, have been announcing that they no longer work at Dicebreaker. It looks like Dicebreaker hasn't, if you look at Dicebreaker, hasn't been updated since I think it was like mid-May.
Right. Wow, that's a long time.
It looks, from the outside, it looks like IGN is basically pretty much shuttering Dicebreaker.
I know.
You know, they bought all those sites. They're not that interested in running a tabletop gaming site. It just happened to come with the others.
Damn. Okay.
And it looks like they've just laid off the staff. I mean, I don't know any more than that, really.
It's a real shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one more example of the community having a resource bought and then just being trashed.
Well, last year, IO9 shuttered its tabletop gaming coverage, which is why Lynn Garriga was involved in the creation of Rascal News.
Yeah.
Having lost their job there. So it looks like the bigger outfits which cover tabletop gaming stuff are kind of pulling back from the tabletop gaming stuff.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't make enough money for a corporate scale, if you know what I mean, because TTRPGs are a niche in terms of the world. Like, I know there's a lot of people that play them, like, we're very about them, but within that subset, there's an even nerdier niche of people, and I'm talking about you, dear listener. They're the kind of people that listen to Tabletop RPG News, because a lot of people that play tabletop RPGs don't go to news sites to read about what's the latest thing going on with it. That's a niche within a niche. So if you're listening to this, you're a very unique and special snowflake.
Or you might be some sort of industry professional.
I mean, Dicebreaker is board games as well. It's not just TTRPGs. It's tabletop in general, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah. But even within that, a lot of people play board games, but how many people regularly seek out up-to-date board game news? I think that's
seven of them just.
That's how many exactly. People? And 7 people, even if they're really engaged, is not enough to run a company on, I believe.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Because my gut feeling, and this is utterly gut feeling, is that
from the hip.
People in the tabletop gaming industry tend to be a little nerdier than, say, people in the, I don't know, the knitting community or the football community.
I'm not having the knitters coming after us.
Yeah.
I don't know. But...
Or the automotive, whatever, you know.
I'm pretty sure we're safe there.
So I would have thought that the percentage of people in our hobby who followed it online would be higher than, say, the percentage in certain other hobbies which are a little less nerdy. I don't know, though.
I fully believe that. I fully believe that there's like a lot of people who would have their eyeballs in it. But is it enough to satisfy the shareholders?
Yes, the shareholders need to buy condominiums.
And we don't want them to be miserable and just merely have to make do with dividends. They have to have rising value of stocks.
Yes.
Won't somebody please think of the shareholders?
Yeah. Anyway, so I think it is, with these, Dicebreaker is I don't know, it's been around for ages now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was a major cornerstone of online tabletop coverage and stuff. So it is sad when you see these things going.
Yeah, and I feel
don't worry.
bad for the reporters and people that, are looking for work and things now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any real sense of how many people worked there and how many people this affects. I've seen like a half dozen or people mentioned, but I'm sure there's a lot more than that.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. There'll be an AI that will accept place releases and remix and regurgitate them.
Oh, there will be, absolutely.
And maybe somebody to keep an eye
Do you know
on
what? You won't even have to send the IA the press releases. The AI will write them
Submit
for you.
themselves.
Yeah.
AIs will be making the press releases, AIs will be regurgitating
But
them.
it's fine because you don't have to read it because online bots will read the site for you.
Right.
So AI will write the sites, and then AI will read the sites, and we'll just be left completely out of the equation.
Yeah, and you can just be left to do your washing. You can be left to do your washing up and hoovering and stuff. The jobs that we as humans should be doing, whilst we let AIs do all the fun stuff. Writing
art
about
and so forth.
What's that meme? I was hoping
the robots would take over the washing up and the laundry,
leaving me to do the creative stuff, but instead it's the other way around.
They're watching the creative stuff and leaving me lumbered with all the jobs I don't want.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I really do need to do laundry though, so actually you can see some in my background.
Hey, should we talk DC20?
Yes, we should. Wow, good God.
What's to know about it? I'm really out of the loop.
So DC20 is a new D20 based Kickstarter, which has broken over $1 million. It's a $1.3 million with like 3 weeks left to go still. From a YouTuber called The Dungeon Coach.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. So basically it's very much pitched as a new evolution in TTRPGs with revolutionary ideas and stuff. I wouldn't go so far as to say that. It is basically a D20 game system which cribs a lot of ideas from Pathfinder and 40.
Russ, it's got 4 attributes instead of 6. This is a game changer looking at.
Yeah.
Sounds edited.
And the things they've done with long rests.
It's a little hyperbolic in the, but I guess it's selling it. But
they got 20 classes, which is quite cool.
But it does look interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it kind of came out of nowhere, then shot up to $1 million very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's got many things that I like. It's got combat maneuvers that are based in it, so that's pretty good.
Action points, Pathfinder style action points.
Yeah.
Character and ancestry creation.
Yes. In common with
skill
a lot
challenges
of games created by white American men. It's like, ancestry, that's what we're all about. I'm like, culture is a thing. But I mean, it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. I like
long rest rules. They're quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it is revolutionary, but I do think it looks like it's a combination of quite a lot of decent ideas, and if it gets put together well,
yes,
it could be. I haven't. To be fair, I've only looked at the Kickstarter page. I haven't read any of the sort of documents and previews and stuff because I'm under the impression that it's been around in a sort of preview form or playtest form for a while. So some people are sort of familiar with it.
Well, certainly YouTubers are flocking to say quotable nice things about it.
Yes,
The
whole TTRPG YouTube community seems to be
rallying around. Absolutely. No, so it's interesting enough. Yeah.
It sounds like another variant on Dungeons. If you like Dungeons and Dragons bits but don't want to buy from Wizards and want to change some bits, it feels like another option in that list. Would that be fair?
Yeah.
So it's another, which is great because I love having loads of options because I think most people that have done something with that have done something different, and so options are good. Yeah.
I mean, there is you can get the sample rules. You can download them now on this playtest rules preview if you want to check it out properly. And it's the whole thing is coming out June 2025.
Okay.
So about a year away for the sort of final version of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ideas. It looks very well funded, so it's going to have some good art.
Yeah.
It's really funded, so it's pretty risk-free, which is nice.
I would say good luck to them, but they don't seem to need it. So
no, they don't need luck. They have the internet on their side.
I picked up a PDF because I think it may have interesting ideas, and I'm ready at the Homebrew and Hacking TTRPG Design or Reverse Engineering Labs, unless that's would get me in trouble. In which case, I totally don't do that. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it's got weird sort of dice and you got tokens and all the sort of like add-on stuff that you get with that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, it's nice. Good offering.
Lots of stretch goals. It's, there's...
all the things you need to break a million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I know of another funded Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
It will be shutting on, I want to say, Monday 17th.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an adventure double feature by the Merry Mushmen.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
I don't know what a mushman is. What's a mushman?
it's the name of like a small company that makes it's Mushmen.
Oh, right.
They're a small company from Europe who are doing some OSR stuff, and it looks fun.
Okay.
Yeah. I asked for news, and people said this is what we're doing, and I quite like it. It's got the OSR vibe aimed at the old school essentials crowd. So
I'm looking at it. I like the look of it. I like the graphic design and layout of it.
Yeah, it's definitely leaning into the old school vibe. But what can I say? OSR weirdos, your time has come. 1,700 backers, around about $119,000. So
nice.
Fair play to them. They've done well. Like I said 3 days ago, but worth a shot.
Good on. Yeah. Okay, what other news have we got? Is there any more news?
Well, I have more Kickstarters I can talk about, and my own news.
I have some news as well about Doctor Who type things.
Doctor Who? Okay.
Well, because
Tell me about Doctor Who.
Well, first of all, I'm really enjoying the new Doctor Who TV series. I've been watching
also.
that.
I think it's very good.
I'm having a really nice time. How fun.
Except for Space Babies. I didn't like the Space Babies. But apart from the Space Babies, I liked it.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Episode 1, I was a bit like, I'm not sure about this, Like, I didn't hate it. I wasn't like, this is awful, but I'm like...
The Space Babies were just a bit too kiddie for me, I think, is what it was.
I didn't... It wasn't for me, but the rest I've been really liking, especially I really like Dot and Bubble and also the 73 feet, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so if you too enjoy Doctor Who,
I don't know if you two enjoy Doctor Who. I mean,
we'd have to ask.
I could give Bono a quick ring and find out, but
if you have that number, that would be great. But anyway, so there is a Doctor Who role-playing game by Cubicle 7, and they do versions that are. They have a Doctor Who role-playing game, which is their kind of system, and they also have like a 5e version. But there is a new book, A Stitch in Time, which is available at print now. So now it's available, and it's a series of 10 episodes from an alien incursion at Holiday Camp in England, and there's also a secret after-hours sale at Galaxy's largest department store. So there's basically new adventures for this coming out, which is called A Stitch in Time, and the adventure all builds up to an epic finale that connects them all. So you can play them separately, or you can have it as an overarching thing, much like a Doctor Who TV series. But yeah, and they can be played in any order. But yeah, so I just thought that was quite cool. So if you do like your Doctor Who role-playing, and I think the Doctor Who stories, when they're well done, are really interesting stories almost for any genre, so you can learn a bit from them. So I do like looking at what Cubicle 7 does with their Doctor Who adventures, because even if I'm not running specifically Doctor Who, I think they do some interesting concepts with sci-fi to look at some interesting ideas that you can take to other games.
I mean, the thing that I love about Doctor Who is that it can kind of be anything. So yeah, it can be comedy, it can be horror, it can be, social commentary, it can be dystopian, it can be funny,
in space.
it can be anything. It can be period, it can be futuristic, it can be sci-fi, it can be gritty,
Yeah.
And so basically, if you've got an adventure or a episode that you don't care for so much, it doesn't matter, because next week there'll be another one, it'll be completely different. So
exactly.
And that kind of works with the game as well, I guess. It's like there's going to be something in there that you probably like.
Yeah, but A Stitch in Time is the book is now available. It's at retail, so you can get it from most of your friendly local gaming stores. To be honest,
nice.
But
yeah. Okay.
Sadly, I have less news than I thought I did, because the couple of Kickstarters that I was going to talk about have successfully funded.
Oh, good for them.
Good news in indie TTRPG land.
What were they? In case they do pledge managers or late backing options.
Doesn't look like it. We have May You Fish in Interesting Times by W.H. Arthur, who's also responsible for the Soul Survivor. And there was another one which was called Blood More Drops by Falconian P, it's basically a revisited version of Vampire the Masquerade, but with less association with the lore and more a take on vampires as being purely magical creatures, which, I thought looked interesting, but sadly, I have not received it in time to be able to shout it out properly on the podcast to get them extra funding. But these look like interesting games.
But it sounds like they're funded anyway, So they did not need our help.
They have our good wishes, even if no actual support.
I don't think anybody needs our help.
That's true.
I mean, there's a certain nerd cred that comes with being on this podcast. Like,
how do I access such credibility?
Oh, Jessica, you don't need to access this credibility.
And how do you spend it? How do you redeem these credibility points?
What can I purchase with these tokens?
At the same outlets has exposure bucks.
Oh, right. Damn it.
But yeah,
so not Tesco's then, is what you're saying. Because that would be useful.
That would be useful.
That would be useful. I need to go grocery shopping today, really. So yeah.
Yes. I thought I might talk perhaps about Warpland by All Rolled Up. It describes itself as a revised print run of the primeval, psychedelic, heavy metal-inspired fantasy role-playing game by Gabriel Quiroga. And it's got some art on it, I'll say that.
What did you say it was called?
Warpland.
Warpland?
Warpland, yes.
Okay.
It appears to be, as far as I can make out, a world where the space and time have been messed around with. There's lots of interesting options for body modifications, mutations, dark gifts, flaws. It's got quite high production values. Certain, if you're familiar with the heavy metal cartoon from back in the day, then it's definitely leaning into that aesthetic quite hard. I think maybe if you like stuff like DCC, then you'll be looking at this going, how aesthetic, how interesting. It looks like a giggle. Backing starts about $40 for a book, and then you can get various extra bits and bobs for between £60 and £100. It looks interesting.
I just spotted a bit of news I wasn't even aware of.
Oh, tell me more.
Pendragon 6e has released.
Really?
Finally. So
the
King
it's been
Arthur.
a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah. So the King Arthur game has been, like you say, it's been around for quite a while. And finally, it's here. It has been released. 6th edition Pendragon, the Knights Chivalry and Arthurian Romance game from Chaosium.
Well, excellent work, Chaosium. Good job.
I will be picking that up because I'm interested. I'm very interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was by Greg Stafford, who passed like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So this is, everyone always says that Pendragon is kind of like, it's up there in the sort of like pantheon of sort of like masterclass RPGs.
I certainly enjoyed the game of Pendragon that I was in, despite, to be honest, not really rating the character sheet. After I overcame my fear and engaged the game, it was a good time. Unusual.
I've never played it, but I do want to.
Yeah.
Because I'm very, very curious.
I'm sure if you were to write that in some sort of appropriate Facebook group, somebody might give it a go.
Yeah, most probably.
Yeah. I have a little bit of news. It's probably not hugely important, but over the last 5 weeks, I've been writing a series of blog posts all about cantrips. In short, cantrips are quite an important choice that you make, and they can be quite permanent. So being able to choose cantrips that you think are interesting is good, and cantrips that do double duty and you get a lot of use out of is also good. So I reviewed most of the corpus of advanced 5th edition cantrips, certainly all the ones available on a5e.tools, and Peter Martin of Purple Marketing Games was kind enough to let me have the right to reproduce for educational purposes on my blog, Manual of Adventurous Resources, and Spells from the Forgotten Vaults. So they've got the text there, and I've written more about them, and also I had a look at the Black Flag cantrips, although that is largely better worded D&D cantrips.
Yeah.
This 5th post is where, rather than, quote, filling in the gaps and making cantrips that, target intelligence and so forth, I made some magic items out of cantrips that don't generally get to see the light of day. Like, try as we could on Advanced 5th Edition, we couldn't make resistance attractive because it's just...
not.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to tell you differently, but it's just bad. It uses your concentration, gives you a default, so it's like, there is something better you can do with your action 99% of the time. So I made things like Lesser Bubbling Pipe, which gives you like a 10-foot cube of bubbles and so forth, which was based on a cantrip. A Prankster's Ring to turn Shocking Grasp into like a little handy gesture for everyone. Pearls of resistance, where you swallow them and then it gives you resistance at an appropriate point. And because I was getting quite into it, I also came up with a mechanical hornet. Hornet being the American word for what we would call wasps. If we say a rage-filled murder tube, you are bang on the money. So I've put the text on my blog, along with like the various bits, but also I got some art. I was experimenting making like a little bit of art using photos and Photo Sketcher, and I released it as a separate thing that you can buy if you like.
Excellent.
So it's like if you're interested in game design, this could be worth a read. Like or not, I don't really mind. I write it mostly for myself, but if other people like it, then I'm delighted.
Have either of you played Heroes of Might and Magic?
No, isn't that a computer game?
I have not.
I have not either. However, I am aware that it exists.
Okay.
It's a thing that exists in the world. It exists on those their computers
7 or something. But
Modiphius are going to be producing the official tabletop RPG of it.
Oh.
Using their 2D20 system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I know.
Okay, so they'll be diving into the lore, bringing that out, and doing a conversion with, it works. The system, it's fine. Yeah.
Yep. There's going to be a Kickstarter in early 2025.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more details at the PurCon Festival seminar in June.
Nice.
Which is a convention in Poznan, Poland.
Mm-hmm.
June the 14th.
Sweet. Yeah.
Which is very soon, actually. That's today.
Yeah.
Today? No, it is today, isn't it?
Today
So
is the
correct.
14th of June.
Yes.
When we are recording.
From 3 to 4 p.m. So in approximately 25 minutes as we speak, they are going to be releasing that information live to an audience in Poland.
Wow, that's exciting. If you're listening to the podcast, it'll be after the recording date. You too probably could look up that information.
Yes, and we'll probably know more than we do right now.
Yeah, because that's how...
It's our future, but your past.
That's how we experience time.
Yes.
In a linear fashion.
Other ways of experiencing time are valid.
Yeah, that's just how we do that here.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What else we got? We got some Pathfinder news.
Oh, yeah.
We got a look at the champion class from Pathfinder Player Core 2.
The champion class?
The champion class.
Oh, I played one of those. I was a liberator.
Oh. How is it to play?
Paladin. It did just paladin things.
Okay.
I raised my shield, I walked forwards, I hit a thing. There was a lot of repeating of this, but as a gameplay loop, I enjoyed it. I tanked it. I gave out damage. Pretty much what I wanted, really.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just want to be a righteous warrior and go hit things. I have a game where I'm doing that sort of thing, and
Smite evil.
I know exactly what I've signed up for, and I'm having a great time. But yeah, anyway, so what's Paizo doing with this?
Well, this is for Pathfinder Remastered.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Where they've dropped alignment, which is kind of a big component of a paladin type class.
Yes.
And they've replaced that with edicts and anathema.
Anathema. Okay. What does that word mean in the English language, please?
It means something that's completely against everything that you hold dear. And it's basically like just the very worst thing. So the
edicts are kind of things that you do.
Yes.
And the anathema are things that you hate.
Okay, got it. Cool. Thank you.
Okay. So instead of like just having good and evil, they've got a much wider sort of range of types of champion you can play.
So it's like the character's personal morality then for what they think is right and what they think is bad and they would never do.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily even morality. It might be a totally different kind of thing that they're,
Like, I would never eat American-style cheese.
For example.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that is one of the listed anathema, but, I mean, it's possible.
Okay. Well, I haven't read it, so I don't know. So
American-style cheese and cucumbers.
Yeah.
Anathema! I hear some American cheese can be quite nice.
Yeah, well, that's coming out in August. It's coming out pretty soon.
Ah, sweet.
It's very soon,
Very soon, yeah. August the 1st. By the Paizo store, and August the 20th on Amazon.
Yeah, it's available for pre-order now.
Yeah,
so if you pre-order it, it'll just go to your inbox on the 1st of August.
$60 in hardcover, or $20 in PDF.
So they do the thing where if you get the book, you get the PDF, don't they, as well?
I think so, yeah.
I think they do.
I think they did a thing where they standardised all their prices so that now every
Yes.
single PDF is the same price and every hardcover is the same price.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 20 and 60 respectively, or something like that.
Yes.
I seem to recall.
Yes.
I imagine that makes life much easier. It's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Just,
And also
costs
for
what it
whoever
costs,
does their
man.
bookkeeping and taxes.
yay!
Mm.
Yeah, make like guessing at things a lot easier. So yeah, no, I mean, it's nice if you can be that size of company and make that sort of economy of scale.
Oh, what other news do we have?
More news?
I'm out.
I'm out.
Oh, Era Balam, the RPG, the one where you're like starfighters, that sort of Space and Beyond Battlestar Galactica, that has both funded and seems to be plodding along quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So good work to Shades of Vengeance Press and Jared. Love to see it.
Here we go. Candidate for biggest Kickstarter, TTRPG Kickstarter ever upcoming.
Oh, what's that?
Brandon Sanderson,
Oh yeah.
who's had the biggest Kickstarter ever with his novel series.
Yeah.
And that was something like 40 million or something massive. I don't know how much it was.
Oh
It was
my
massive.
goodness, that's so much cheddar.
Massive,
Yeah.
massive. It might even been more than that. I don't know what it was, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an official Stormlight Archive tabletop RPG.
Wow. I know at least one person who's going to just lose their mind about this.
Amazing.
In
So
a good way.
what do we know about this? Like system?
I
When
don't
is
know a
it
lot about it. I'm not
launching?
familiar with the books either. I know it's been produced by Brotherwise Games.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Kickstarter's launching on August the 6th.
Oh, so soon.
Yeah, 2024 is the actual planned release date as well, so it's going to be quite a quick one, it looks like.
Oh, so it's one of those already written type situations.
Possibly, yeah.
Fair.
I don't really know much else about it. I mean, I'm not really familiar with the books, other than the fact that they're immensely popular and they are responsible for the biggest Kickstarter ever.
Yeah. They're very large, get a lot of book for your money.
Mm.
I mean, people keep raving it. I keep on thinking I should dive into them. It's just like, yeah. I mean, I do read a lot of books, so it's not infeasible for me to do this. I do enjoy reading books. And I don't know, it's just like, it's very hard getting the information about what exactly is going on. Not that I want spoilers, but it's just like, but if your plot, right, if the plot revolves around people not talking to each other, I'm not going to enjoy it, because there are very specific exceptions, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Amazon, where they start the first episode with them talking about how they're just terrible at talking about their feelings and talking to other people. I'm like, you know what? That is going to solve a lot of my problems. And it did, because when they weren't talking to each other, I was like, they did tell us they were terrible, self-admittedly, at talking to each other. That's legit. Whereas a lot of adults can just, like, I don't know, talk. So, yeah. It sounds interesting. So, you reckon that's going to make approximately all of the money?
I think it's going to... It is, well, put it this way. If anything can topple Avatar,
Which was what,
it's going to be
10
that.
million?
Yeah.
Wow.
If anything can do it.
We shall
If it
find
doesn't
out.
do it, I reckon it will still be the second largest Kickstarter ever. TTRPG Kickstarter.
We'll find out in a few weeks, won't we?
I mean, it's possible that there is a bigger overlap between Brandon Sanderson fans and RPG players than there was between Avatar fans and RPG players.
Who
I'm not
knows?
saying for certain, but it's possible.
Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, I did have one last thing to throw into the mix. Another Kickstarter for indie stuff. This is a system neutral one. It's called, you'll like this name, Fungi of the Far Realms.
Fungi of the Far Realms.
It is
Sound
an
like
illustrated
fun
guide
guys.
to fictional mushrooms. Am I seeing
Okay.
what you did there? Yeah.
That old chestnut, eh?
Hey. Yeah, so I can see you set your cap at it already, Russ. So what you've got is you get a book, and what I quite liked was that you can also get like a whole pile of playing cards, which you can show to your players with like an illustration of a mushroom on, and then your GM secrets are on the other side.
Ooh.
Pretty system neutral. They've also got a Foundry module as well, so
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty broad appeal, and it's a reprint of a previous existing book, but with additional content. So yeah, a lot of things for everyone. I quite like the art style. It's it feels a little bit like pencil drawn, like coloring pencil sort of vibe, but not unattractive. That's very unfair. It is quite attractive. It's but like in a coloured pencil sort of fashion, which words are failing me. There's a lot of curves, is what I'm saying.
Or are you failing words?
Yes.
Wow.
Anyway, so if you like fungi, then this could be fun for you.
If you like fungi and a fun time.
Yeah. But if you're too small, I'm sure they'll understand.
A lot of people do really love mushrooms. And a high percentage of them are autistic and or gay as well, I've noticed as a trend online. I don't know why, I'm just noticed. I'm not saying it's causation, I'm just noting the correlation.
You know
Is there a correlation?
Yeah.
You know what this really reminds me of? But correlation does not imply causation.
Yeah.
Which may be what Russ was driving at. But you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of those 60s cartoons where they're trying to evoke the feeling of LSD by lots of swirling colours. Haven't seen it for a long time. That's what it reminds me of.
Malak the Maleficent here. If, like me, you're enjoying this podcast, please consider subscribing on Patreon for exclusive bonus content every week and the warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing you are helping to keep the show going. Subscribe at patreon.com/Morrus. There, I said it. Could you stop staring at me like that now? The things I do. All right. Don't forget, patreon.com/Morrus. Can I go now?
Still out of news. I hope we've got any more news. Come on, tell me there's some more news.
Sure, there's more.
Django had a haircut this week.
We're really stretching for news at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah. Just to stretch out the podcast. Have people played any tabletop RPGs in the last week or playing any over the weekend?
I've been far too ill.
I have. I played Dragonbane. That was quite good.
Oh, yeah. I haven't played that yet.
Yeah. It's if you play Modiphius, then it's going to be pretty simple. It's got a single D20. The idea is you roll equal to or under your skill in what have you, and there's no addition to dice and ones or crits. And you know what? I'm finding it quite good actually.
Nice.
I played I was supposed to be playing a halfling, but the latest edition of Gate Pass Gazette had come out, and there was this most amazing cat picture, which I have been crushing hard upon. So I got to play a kitty instead. And basically, I had the reckless floor, so I went in. So there's all these ways you can go about very carefully approach the dungeon. So I used my extensive knowledge of these and did the exact opposite at all times.
Fair.
It was very fun.
Yeah.
And due to unbelievable spawny luck, I managed to avoid terrible things happening on some occasions. Can't
Always
wait for
good.
that.
Nice.
I just realised I told a lie. I have played a game. I literally played one last night. And it totally flew out of my mind. No, I was playing a Voidrunner's Codex game, and we were doing some starship combat last night.
Pew-pew.
And it was fun.
Really?
It was Starfighter-based starship combat.
Yeah.
And it really did feel quite cinematic. It really worked.
That's good, because that is the goal.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm glad it does that.
I mean, I don't know if you're up for it, but I would be quite interested in hearing about the whole ship combat thing. Is that something that you can talk about?
I'm sure we could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you feel up to it, because it can be quite difficult to implement, getting vehicle rules. How much of a new system is it, would you say?
Well, it's 5e. Don't get me wrong. We're still playing 5e. It's not 5e. So it's not a massive new system. So it's just how you arranged what happens. So basically, you've got two types of starship combat. Really, they can work together, but you can have a starfighters, or you can have capital ships, and both of those do work differently. I mean, they can operate in the same combat, but they kind of work very differently.
Okay.
So it's zone based.
Okay,
so rather than the exact position on the map, it's kind of like you have the zones like an asteroid field, planetary atmosphere, a star destroyer which has two zones, maybe one around the shield generators, one around the bridge, maybe.
It feels almost like a sort of a cinematic approach, as in you've got different framing shots, so you're less concerned with the travelling between them, and more like the cutting between. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, you have like a battle map, and you have tokens for your ships and stuff, or miniatures, and your miniatures are in various zones, and depending on how fast and manoeuvrable your ship is how quickly you can go from one zone to another.
Yeah.
So, like, really fast little fighters might be to go off to a different zone, whereas a much slower ship might take, like their entire action to change to an adjacent zone sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, and then starfighters have access to combat maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
But starfighter combat works a lot like ground combat does, in that you use your actions normally. You use your move action to move your starfighter, you move your attack action to fire its guns, or use your action to take an action, or use a combat maneuver or anything. So that all worked really well. And we had people like diving into asteroid fields and coming out of the asteroid fields and, stuff like that. That worked really well.
So the starfighter combat is a little bit like the starfighter is almost like a suit that you're wearing?
Yeah. That's an excellent analogy, actually, because that was when it was originally pitched. That was kind of like how it was described. So almost like it's a suit of armor that surrounds your character, almost. And then each zone, of course, has different properties. So if you dive into an asteroid field or an electrical storm or something, say there's a nebula with an electric storm.
Different environmental effects.
It's hard for people to hit you because they get disadvantaged because, like, all your sensors are messed up. But also these lightning bolts, so you have to make a saving throw each round to not be hit by a lightning bolt. And
golly gosh.
And so we actually found that did influence the way. So, like, there was this bit where there was an electrical storm, and the best pilot, being played by Nick, my friend Nick, decided to risk the electrical storm because he was a better pilot than the bad guys.
Right.
And so while the electrical storm affected everybody, because he was better, it was going to be affecting him less. So it was to his advantage to be in a dangerous environment. Whereas some of the others would go, no, I'm not good enough to go in there. I'm going to stay out here and fly along this river, which is a bit safer.
That's really nice that the mechanics are encouraging that role play, because that's a nice role play moment of like, I'm a great pilot, so I'm going to do this risky thing. Like, that's a fun role play thing. So it's really nice that the rules are encouraging you to role play in that way.
Lose them in the storm.
And it was really important that everybody gets to do it as well.
Yes.
You didn't just want, the people who had made the pilot builds, they're going to be playing for the next hour and nobody else is.
We get to sit and watch.
Yeah. So basically everybody can do starship combat. It's just that the piloty ones are better at it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
And they get to show off a little bit in that scenario. But everybody can and contribute.
And I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that there's a wide range of starfighters that one can pilot.
I can't remember how many there are in the book now. There are some, yeah.
You've got a legally distinct X-Wing, I'm sure of that.
We would never use copyrighted material, PJ.
It's legally distinct. It's like a Jaeger wing.
It's a cross.
It's a Twitter ring.
It's a cross arm.
Cross-arm fighter. Absolutely, cross-arm configuration.
Yeah.
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah, but then capital ships, they work differently. So
yes,
a capital ship is made up of a number of decks.
Yes, yeah.
And each deck has a different function, and that gives the ship different abilities.
Makes sense.
So you can use your move action to move into whatever deck on your capital ship you want to. So you can rush down to engineering, or you can go to the science labs, or you can go to the hangars, or you can go to, like, the medical bay, or you can go to the bridge, or the weapons decks, or whatever.
Yeah, so starfighter combat, everyone's got their own individual, quote, suit of armour, where they can fly off and do their own thing. But capital ships, they're all on the same capital ship.
Well, you don't have to be. Basically, in a starship combat, everyone plays their character. They don't play a ship. Yeah, if you're playing a character, you might be piloting a starfighter, or you'd be manning a deck on a capital ship. Okay. Is the other sort of thing you might be doing. And then depending what deck on the capital ship you're on, you can do different things.
Yeah. So saying I was playing someone strong that likes punching things, what would my role be?
You'd probably be fighting off like a boarding party or something.
Repel borders. Good times.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So, and there's like dozens of different system actions that you can do on a starship based on what decks you have.
Yeah.
So you can do all sorts of different things there. So everybody's got stuff to do all the time. It's not like someone's piloting the ship and everyone's watching. It's everyone's playing their character. Like the ship's almost just an environment almost, which gives you things that you can do.
But I guess that's why the Star Captain's Manual is its own book, because there's just so much stuff for that one element of things that it needed to be its own thing.
But each of those decks that you build a ship out of, we've got a deck plan for each deck as well.
I know. I'm excited by those. Yeah.
There's 30 odd different deck plans.
Wow. There's a lot of different deck plans.
Yeah. And, it's, I mean, they're only kind of like example deck plans, because you can't say that every ship has exactly the same engineering layout, but we give you one.
Yeah, there's a degree of customization that I would expect.
Yeah. So I think it's shaping up really well.
Have
Shaping
you
up well.
announced the stretch goal yet as well?
No.
Okay.
I have not announced the stretch goal yet.
Okay.
Shall we announce it now?
Yeah.
If you want,
Do you
well,
wanna-
I
do you
sent you the graphics and I corrected the mistake that was on them as well. So I don't know if I don't know when you wanted to put them up, but
I'll probably whack them up this weekend then.
Woo!
But yeah, it's it's a starship builder.
Woo,
We get
exciting.
100,000 Great British Pounds.
Oh.
There will be a free starship builder that you can use to build your own starships to use.
An
In the Voidrunner's
automated
Codex.
online tool.
yes.
Free online tool, yes.
Hard to beat. Love to hear it. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much for sharing.
Yes, I've been messing around with that starship builder this week, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'll be good. But I think, and at the moment, I've made a little tracker for it, but at the time of doing the podcast, 68,000 Great British Pounds. So, and we have 20 days left, so that 100,000 Great British Pounds is not an achievable.
Not for the final figure. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anything else? I think. Any more questions about Starship Combat?
I think there was also an adventure. Shall we talk about that, or shall we leave that for another time?
Escape from Death Planet.
It does have a cool name.
Yes. It's actually a really nice, welcoming planet. It's just badly named.
It's just got a bad rep.
Yeah, it's like...
Yes, have you had a read of it? I know as a budding A5EDM, you might have a different take.
I have, but not enough to talk about it on the podcast because I've been looking at it I've been going through checking which tokens and things we need for it. So I've been going through from that perspective. So I haven't run it yet. So I'm not confident to talk about it on the podcast.
Is there a favourite monster or piece of art that stuck out for you?
Well, the maps are really cool in it, to be honest. There's a whole host of maps. I believe there's, and we were just discussing this the other day to make sure I got it right, 9 maps that come with the adventure.
Wow.
And they're very cool. There's some that shows the planetary system of 9 moons and the relation to them, and there's ones that show specific encounters of battles, and so I think generally the artwork and the maps for the adventures are really nicely done. Like if you enjoyed the box set for like if you had What's Old Is New and if you got the digital version of the Level Up box set, it's more of that style. I think it's really nice on an adventure to have some really nice maps and all the tokens and stuff. And obviously if you get the physical set, you get them physically, but everyone that gets them gets the digital version of them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so I'm running that adventure on Thursday nights at the moment. That's the adventure I'm running. That's what my Starship Combat last night was.
Cool.
Okay. So it sounds like it's got a lot of value add to it. So you've got like...
Well, the adventure's kind of designed to introduce some of the new sort of things. So it introduces hacking rules.
Oh, okay.
It introduces Starship Combat. And, I mean, the 3 biggest things that you get is, other than just like new classes, new heritage, blah, 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 is you get hacking rules, you get Starship Combat, and you get psionics, are 2 big kind of, I don't want to say subsystems, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. It's
new stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get shouted at if I don't ask about hacking. So since you brought it up, how are you implementing hacking?
So you break into a system, you form a countdown pool before you're knocked out of the system, and you can spend some of those countdown dice, so it speeds up the countdown basically as you spend it, to do different hacking manoeuvres.
Okay. Is this like a separate bit of roleplay for the hacker, or would you use this in place of an exploration challenge? When does this come in? Is it more of a social event? What sort of mode, I guess?
It's more of a sort of skill challenge-y type thing, yeah. I mean, it depends on, like, hacking can range from just trying to get a door open, at a really, really basic level, to much more advanced stuff where you're hacking into, I don't know, the bank's vaults and trying to get into the vault, the vault's camera feed, and I'm trying to spoof some credentials, or, because there's something like, I don't know, something like 20 odd different hacking maneuvers you can do.
Wow. Okay.
Each of which does a different thing.
Yeah, so if I wanted to do, I don't know, a bank heist, and we've stuck in the hacker's working way, they've managed to do like a simple hack or things like security cameras and security systems, and then they're working on the big vault itself, and that's more of a set piece. But an alarm has been tripped and there's guards pouring in. Would that be a way that you can say, yes, obviously that will work, the hacker will be doing school challenge, everyone else will be fighting off the guards and then running away.
Because the hacker's operating round to round in the same way that everyone else is.
No,
so you might have someone there busy trying to get the door open, or someone else is fighting off the guards while someone else is doing something else. Yeah. So the whole idea is, you know, that whole kind of like set piece sort of Star Wars scene where everyone's doing their one thing that they're good at, and it's all chaos and
similar to Starfighting. The idea very much wasn't let's sit and watch the hacker do their thing, because that's not as fun. But that is a thing that you can be doing. So obviously, in a big complicated hack, you'd have it going over several, rounds and.
Yeah, we got a flowchart for hacking as well.
Oh, I do like a flowchart.
Yeah. I don't think it's really needed because it's not that. I think the flowchart maybe makes it a little more complicated than it actually is. But I do like like you. I do like a flowchart, and I just couldn't resist including one. Here you go. Have a look at that. If that works.
I'll copy and paste the whole thing into my browser.
Oh yeah, only half of that link. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because there's an apostrophe in it. That's why.
Nah.
Doesn't like the apostrophe.
Okay. Oh, so you've got difference between remote or terminal access. Okay. Contested or uncontested. It does look a little bit oh, no, but I see what you're saying.
It isn't. When you actually look at it, it's not complicated at all. It just, the flowchart does make it look more complicated than it is.
I've seen worse, and I'm looking directly at the grappling rules from various systems. This is not that complicated. Oh, okay, yeah. It's just like a quick way to help you work it out.
The fact that most of it could be on one page if you were running this, you could just refer to this and do it.
Oh, counter hacks as well, nice.
Yeah, sometimes the computer doesn't want you there. And then you've got all that list of
hacking manoeuvres down the right-hand side. Look, that's all the different things you can do.
Okay, so I see you've got weapon jam. Is that in the Shadowrun sense of someone's pointing it at you and like, lol, no? Or is it more of an automated weapon system?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yes, is the answer to your question. Yes.
Yeah, and also you can use hacking on robots and stuff as well in combat.
I feel there's like a rich vein of robots monsters that might be coming out at us.
Yeah, we've got quite a few robots in the book.
Yeah.
We've got some robots in there. They're called exterminator drones. Mm-hmm. You can totally guess what they're based on.
I have no idea.
They're like these
I have no idea
orbs that just want to exterminate everyone and everything.
I have no idea who you could be referencing with that. She's still got it. She's sick and arthritic, but she's here. Woo.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Overclock, overheat things. Looks nice. Yeah, it looks quite good. And I think the countdown pool, it's an extra mechanic, but maybe it will stop it feeling quite so much like its own separate system.
I just love the countdown pools and the tension they add. They just work so well for tension.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Always hilarious.
I've never ever seen a countdown pool rolled where everyone at the table didn't stop and look. They're like, every time you rolled it. For some reason, it's just that particular mechanic. It's just like, it grabs people's attention.
Yeah, and that's what you want in a game. Everyone engaged and caring about what's happening.
Yeah. They are extremely versatile. Things like doing them, like when you want the players to hurry up and do something. It's a fab thing. I mean, you can roll D20s, that's legit, but rolling a handful of dice and then taking some away, I like to feel that gets my message across much clearer.
I like the countdown. I'm very proud of it. I invented it.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very proud of it.
Yeah.
Good.
Groovy.
I think people at UK Games Expo that were running What's Old is New commented that they really liked that feature in the games there. So
the countdown pool.
Yeah.
Jolly good.
So I think you're not the only one that enjoys that. It's
also so movable. You can just use it in any game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So easily.
Yeah. I have ported it around. I see no reason not to, because I got a handful of D6. Something hilarious is going to happen. Or terrible. Yeah. Possibly both.
It's just literally a countdown. It can be used with any game at all.
No.
And countdowns are inherently stressful, and we all like to stress our players.
Yes. And we all love being stressed as well.
Yes.
Yeah. It's certainly for action. Possibly with horror, actually.
All right.
Maybe less good for romance.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You could build up tension with a countdown, like I'm running through the airport. Will you get there on time to declare your love?
Oh, nice. Or you're having a moment with your paramour, and when will the their chaperone find you?
Yeah, if you want to go Bridgerton, yeah.
I think we're probably done now.
I think we are done. I think that's the week's news. Not too busy a news week, but who knows what next week may bring.
Who knows?
Okay, well, I'll see you folks next week.
Yes. See you later.
Bye, 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 bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Apparently, I now have to read this to you. This is the official podcast of Morrus's unofficial tabletop RPG news, which you can find at enworld.org. You can find show notes at morrus.podbean.com or wherever you found the podcast. If you feel like they deserve it, you can support the show on Patreon. In return, you will receive exclusive bonus content. Just go to patreon.com/Morrus. If you're interested in his babbling nonsense, you can follow at Morrus on the Twitter. Send your emails to morruspodcast@gmail.com. Not all of your emails, just the ones you want us to see. That's it. I'm bored now. You can go away. Shoo, off you go. Goodbye. Get out of here.
Did you enjoy Doctor Who, Bridgerton?
I did. Yes. I did enjoy that. I did like the episode. Yes. It wasn't really Bridgerton, but yeah.
I haven't seen Bridgerton, but I have seen that, and I thought it was fun.
Well, Bridgerton's just a Regency romance, but it's not period accurate, so it does what it wants and takes creative license in terms of...
So exactly the same as the Doctor Who episode, then?
Yeah, very similar.
That very much describes that Doctor Who episode.